Hello and welcome to GHTV. Here's a look at the top stories of the week. I'm John Patty.
And I'm Megan Hutchison. A 6-alarm fire at Toronto's badminton and racket club has injured the fire captain. 2 firefighters have been treated for a back injury and a fall. The fire captain inside the building had to issue a mayday call at one point, but he was rescued with minor injuries. The area around Yonge and St. Clair was evacuated and the St. Clair subway station was closed. The building was completely demolished, but the fire was brought under control early Wednesday morning.
Gun violence has erupted in the city once again. This weekend, there were 3 shootings across the GTA. One in Ajax, one downtown, and another close to home here in Rexdale at Kipling and West Humber Boulevard. According to the victim of the Rexdale shooting, several masked men broke into their apartment, and during the home invasion, the resident was shot. The victim was taken to the hospital, but their injuries are not serious.
Almost 200,000 people in Northern California had been evacuated from their homes this week. On Sunday, a dam near Oroville, California, reached record water levels, and the emergency spillway, which prevents overflow when water gets too high, began breaking apart. Storms coming later in the week had caused great concern among officials, because an out-of-control overflow could cause uncontrollable flooding downstream. Late Tuesday night, the evacuation order was lifted and people returned to their homes.
A highly anticipated event has left the leaders of Canada and the United States meeting for the first time. On Monday, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau went to Washington to see U.S. President Donald Trump. They discussed matters from women's issues to strengthening international security. One topic that has been worrying Canadians is renegotiating NAFTA. But Trump assured Trudeau that only small changes would be made, and that he's more concerned with Mexico. The Prime Minister's office has called the meeting a success, and the 2 governments will continue to work together closely in the future.
The Liberal government has defeated an NDP motion asking for an apology after backing out of electoral reform. The motion went to the House of Commons and was overturned with a vote of 175 to 129. Protests broke out across the country after the promise was broken, including hundreds showing up in Nathan Phillips Square in Toronto. The vote came just a day after Trudeau's return from the meeting with President Donald Trump at the White House. Trudeau said in a town hall meeting in Yellowknife that he will stick with his decision no matter the consequences.
Toronto police won't be marching in this year's Pride Parade. Last summer, Black Lives Matter interrupted the protest, and one of their demands was that police be banned from taking part. Black Lives Matter has also petitioned for police to be removed from the Vancouver Pride Parade. Despite the setback, Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders says they are still committed to the LGBT community, and they will still provide security during the event.
21 refugees have crossed the U.S. border into Emerson, Manitoba. The refugees immediately called 911 after entering, causing the RCMP to assist them. Emergency crews found the asylum seekers entering the province in 2 separate groups. The Canadian Border Services Agency says it's the biggest group that they have seen in this amount of time. All 21 refugees are currently being detained by the RMCP.
Bombardier is taking transit operator Metrolinx to court. Metrolinx currently runs GO Transit and will soon be in charge of Toronto's LRT lines. Bombardier was building the LRT cars for them, but Metrolinx tried to break that contract over worries that Bombardier wouldn't be able to make them. Bombardier said they can deliver trains on time and blamed Metrolinx for delays. These cars will be used on the future Finch West LRT line, which will come to Humber College in 2021.
Canadians are rolling up the rim to a new surprise. Potato wedges are the newest available Tim Hortons traditional roll-up-the-rim-to-win contest. But this edition has been met with mixed feelings. Some people say that they would rather lose than win potato wedges, while others are excited to get something more filling than a donut. Nearly 5 million potato wedges will be won during this contest, which runs until April 14th.
Now here's Brandon Vieira with your entertainment update.
Hey John, the biggest night in music happened on Sunday. Some of the most famous musicians of all time, including Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, Metallica, Bruno Mars, The Weeknd, and so many more were gathered together at the 59th Grammy Awards. However, the night belonged to British sensation Adele. She took home all 5 Grammys her album 25 was nominated for, and she performed twice. Her second performance, which is a tribute to George Michael, got off to a rocky start to sound issues. After cursing and asking for a do-over, she restarted and sang a beautiful rendition of Michael's hit, Fast Love. Many, including Adele, were shocked that she was able to beat out Beyoncé for all the big awards. In her speech for Album of the Year, Adele said Beyoncé deserved this award because her album, Lemonade, was so monumental. Beyoncé may have given a breathtaking and symbolic performance at the Grammys, but it was her daughter, Blue Ivy, who stole the show with her adorableness. Whether she was sitting with her friend, cheering her mother on, or running across the room to be a part of James Corden's carpool segment, the cameras just couldn't get enough of Blue Ivy. Speaking of Beyoncé, it seems as though she has started a new trend in Hollywood. Just a few weeks after Beyoncé announced her pregnancy, it was reported that George Clooney and Amal Al-Muddin are also expecting twins. Are Beyoncé planning on creating a supergroup? I guess only time will tell. One of the biggest reality television franchises is coming to Toronto. The Real Housewives of Toronto is premiering on March 7th on Slice. The show will be following 6 upper-class women whose lives are devoted to their family, fashion, and parties. The Real Housewives franchise began in 2006, and after 11 years, we'll finally get to see how rich women in Toronto handle drama. Just a reminder that the biggest night in Hollywood is happening 2 weeks from Sunday. Make sure to tune in to the Academy Awards on Sunday, February 26th. On our next show, I'll be recapping the biggest and most shocking moments that the Oscars has to offer. I'm Brandon Vieira, and this has been your entertainment update. Now here's Anna Akoto and her new co-anchor, Francesca Lopresti, with a look at sports.
Thanks, Brandon. The Toronto Raptors have finally captured the power forward they have coveted for so long. The Raptors acquired Serge Ibaka from the Orlando Magic in exchange for Terrence Ross and a 2017 first-round draft pick. This season, Ibaka has averaged 15 points and 7 rebounds per game. Ibaka will provide the Raptors with much-needed scoring depth, but will also add help defensively. Going the other way, the Magic are getting Terrence Ross. Ross will probably be most remembered for taking home the slam dunk title and also dropping 51 points against the Los Angeles Clippers. This season, Ross has averaged 10 points per game as well as 2.6 rebounds. The deal comes after the Raptors have had a rather disappointing month. Losing 6 of their last 10 games, the Raptors have dropped from the second in the division to 5th. After their loss against the Detroit Pistons, point guard Kyle Lowry was quoted after the game saying, "Something needs to change, and it's clear his message was heard."
The Montreal Canadiens head coach Michel Therrien has been fired. The news was released Tuesday afternoon. His replacement is Claude Julien, former Boston Bruins head coach. Julien was fired by the Bruins on February 7th with a record of 26-23-6. He has 1 Stanley Cup under his belt. This isn't Julien's first stint with the Habs. He was their head coach from January 2003 to 2006. The Canadiens are on a 2-game losing streak but are first in the Atlantic Division. Julien will be behind the bench on Saturday at 2 when the Canadiens face the Winnipeg Jets. This has been your sports update. I'm Anna Akoto.
And I'm Francesca Lopresti. Back to you, Megan.
Thanks, Francesco and Anna. Now here's Alex Hansiuk with his take on news and other stuff.
It's that time again for Canadians to roll up the rim at your local Timmy's. This is a time of great emotional turmoil. It starts with excitement, anticipation, then nerves and doubt that you will be burned once again by that cup. Then you roll. It could go either way, the immense happiness with winning a free coffee or donut, or the confusion at winning your 25th straight potato wedge, like who could possibly eat that many potato wedges? Or crippling sadness, as soon you see the dreaded "please play again." The sadness morphs into anger, like I want more free coffees, gosh dang it, I could have bought my own car with all the money I spent buying coffees to win a car. But 3 young men would not stand for this inevitable cycle. They have been burned by the system too many times and finally took matters into their own hands. They accomplished the dream. A former Belleville Timmy's employee and his 2 friends risked it all, put themselves against the system, and stole boxes of cups. They have regrettably been charged, but a part of me hopes that the winning cup is somewhere within those boxes, just waiting to be rolled. This week, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau met with US President and part-time model Donald Trump. But it was a certain handshake that stole the show. To celebrate, here is GHTV's Top 5 Handshakes. At number 5, the dead fish. Just flops back there. And it's the handshake equivalent of low self-esteem. At number 4, the pusher. It's like when you want to shake someone's hand but don't want them to be too close. At number 3, the controller, which is basically like when Trump just wants to pull you real close. At number 2 is the John, which is just so damn comfortable. Like, just lock your fingers like that, regular handshake. It's wonderful. And at number 1, the GHTV. Jazz hands. I'm Alex Hand Ziak. Back to you, John and Megan.
Thanks, Alex. For all students at the University of Guelph, beware of what might be slithering behind a closed griffin door. A small ball python was on the run for 4 days at the school. It was first brought to school by a student on Thursday and was captured on Monday afternoon. This incident is not associated with the Ontario Veterinary College program. The University of Guelph wants to remind students that all pets, except for service dogs, are banned from campus.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for joining us on GHTV. I'm Megan Hutchison.
And I'm John Patty. See you next time.